Hey guys, it's Paradise, and if you're looking for a quick guide on the full Fire Knight's questline, then we have you covered here. This quest lets you obtain the extremely powerful Flame Skewer Ashe of War, which is earned very quickly, as well as additional items, and finally, the Queeling's Greatsword or the actual NPC Queeling as a summon to aid you in battle. The first part of this quest involves beating him 2 separate times as an invader. There's 2 set locations he can spawn at, and we aren't 100% sure, but it seems like you can do them in any order as long as you beat him both times. The first location is in the Bellarat Tower settlement, starting from the small private altar Grace Point. So from the Grace Point, you're going to head through this doorway and there will be an enemy up ahead. I actually advise just beating this guy down because he's a real pain if he chases you. So destroy him and then head right, walking past this sort of ruin area. Ignore the shadows on the way unless you want to take your time. And just up here by the tree is where you will get the invasion. So as you can see, I'm buffing up because when you go forwards, the invasion starts and you're going to need to defeat the Queeling. To be honest, his moveset can be very annoying depending on what build you're using, so just try your best and give it a few goes if you need to. But once he's defeated, well, you've got it. This rewards you with the Flame Skewer Ashe of War. It's extremely powerful and fantastic for a variety of builds, especially strength and faith builds. It has an extremely quick animation as you thrust forwards, dealing massive damage, and allows for a heavy attack follow-up to fling fire in front of you. This is actually pretty good in PvP and PvE, so definitely give it a go. Take note that on the second time you defeat Queeling, you will get the prayer key, which is needed for the final part of the quest. The other location where you can find Queeling to fight as an invader to proceed the questline is within the Church of CRUSADE, which you can get to from the High Road Cross Grace Point. So from the Grace Point, hop on your mount and head in this direction to the northwest. We're going to go up this hill and to that big church-like cathedral building. Go through the grassy lands. There shouldn't be any problems around this area. It's a pretty clean run there. But do note, once you go inside, the invasion will actually begin. So I advise that you put your buffs on and stuff like that before you actually fully walk in. Once you go in, of course, that's when he's going to pop out and you're going to have to fight him. Again, it might take a couple of goes, depending on your build and how experienced you are with the fight and his moveset. He can be annoying, but give it a few goes and you've got this. This will reward you with the CRUSADE Insignia Talisman that raises your attack power by 15% for 20 seconds after defeating an enemy. Depending on the order that you killed him, the second time you kill him, you'll get the prayer room key as a drop, which allows you to get the final rewards. However, it's good to know that to get the final rewards, you will need either an Iris of Occultation or the Iris of Grace, depending on which reward you want. I currently know of 2 locations for each of these. If you want to get the Spirit Ashe of the Fire Knight Queelign, then you'll need an Iris of Grace. The first location for this is within the Shadow Keep. Start at the Storehouse first floor Grace Point, run to the left and around the corner where you'll find a room with an elevator, travel all the way down to the bottom and go through the first door to the right. Continue forwards until you can take a left to go down some stairs, and then make your way into the room filled with pots and turn left and then left again, where you'll see a shiny item on the floor at the end of the room, and this is your first Iris of Grace. If you already have that first Grace and you've used it, there's a second location which is a bit more involved. It starts from the Church District entrance site of Grace and follow this route. So there'll be a bunch of parkour involved here. You want to head down, loop around this rooftop on the right, walk along the raised bit onto this platform, go around the lip of this section and jump to the right, then jump forwards, and on this roof there will be a mage enemy that will shoot fireballs at you, so you may want to time your jump around getting hit by a fireball, just like I did, onto this arc as you go up to the roof. That may take a few tries, it's a tricky jump. Look down and line yourself up to walk forwards and land safely, then fall down this crack and head up this way where you'll find an enemy in the hallway. I advise beating this enemy. They are really annoying and they chase you down if you don't kill them, so do some jump attacks, poise break, and then head through this door on the left. There'll be a few bats to kill. We're basically going to go up this section to pull a lever, but watch out for this little hole in the floor, and there'll be some bats on the right in this hidden little cubby. But progress forwards up this ladder, and we want to pull the lever which will actually drain this area out, and this will be important later on and for where we need to go for this Iris of Grace. Once everything has been drained, jump back down or use the ladder if you want to be safe, and head inside the actual building we were just on, land on that platform, and then at the bottom, and just outside in this ruin, you will find another Site of Grace, which is a great checkpoint for us. We then want to progress and find the iris, which will involve following this route that I'm taking. So watch out for the enemies along the way. Some of the tree avatars can spawn here. So follow the exact route I'm going and you should be okay. You want to head inside this massive building here, and at the other end of the building you will find a red enemy. You don't have to kill them, you could avoid them and run through to the right, but if you do kill them, you can get a really cool helmet that lowers the FP of your summons. But anyway, you want to head to this north section through the double doors, and as you keep going forwards, you'll find a door that needs manually opening under the stairs, and inside of this room, there's going to be an elevator that we want to go all the way down. So hop on the elevator, it takes a hot minute to get to the bottom, but once you are at the bottom, you have a new Site of Grace, and now it's a home run, nothing too crazy. Follow the cave through and there'll be a really scary looking bridge, but don't worry, there's no traps, there's no booby traps or anything like that. Just keep following the bridge down till you get to this Arekkz statue with an item on the floor, which is the Iris of Grace. And then we have two locations for the Iris of Occultation, and you'll need this if you want the Queeling's Greatsword. The first and easiest location to get this from is in the Morth Highway South Grace Point, and run inside the fort nearby. As soon as you get in, take a left and follow my path to jump into this small hole. Here you need to get ready because in the lower area around the corner is an enemy that you must beat, and that will drop the Iris. The second location, if you've already used that previous one, involves killing a tree avatar located here in the map in the drained area of the Shadow Keep. If you haven't drained this area, follow this path. If you've just drained it from the Iris of Grace location, then you don't have to repeat this, but in case you didn't need that Iris of Grace, I'm going to show you the location again. We want to parkour along these rooftops, hugging to the right of this, jumping over to the right, then onto this next roof that has the mage on it. Again, be careful of the mage that shoots fireballs at you, so time your jump after getting hit by a fireball to get on this archway. It's a very difficult jump, it will take a few tries. Then line yourself up, drop down, and head over to this crack, where we then want to head northwest, which is going to have another enemy inside. I recommend killing this enemy because they do chase you down. So once he's defeated, head out the left door across this section where you will find the bats, and we're almost there now. Kill the bats, head up the stairs, and watch out for the little crack in the floor that you need to jump over. And again, there'll be some bats hiding on the right here, but then head up the ladder, and just above this ladder, you can pull the lever that will drain the whole area and reveal a whole new section, which is where we need to go to for this next Iris of Occultation. Once you've drained the water, you can now head back down and go into the building that you were just stood on to pull the lever. Down here will lead to the area that has just been drained, and here on the map you can defeat the tree avatar to get the Iris. However, many people have noticed after draining this area, if you fast travel away and then back again, this causes the tree avatar to bug out and instantly die, granting you the Iris instantly for free. But now we've been over both Iris locations, it's time to finish the quest. Start at the Church District entrance Site of Grace and follow this route to get to the secret prayer room with Queelign in it. So to get to the prayer room, again, we're at our favorite jump spot with a load of parkour. Jump down onto this rooftop, loop around just as we have before, running along this section to get to the edge where you can then hop over to the right and hop straight. Again, this is going to be that same spot with the mage that will shoot fireballs at you. You're going to have to do this jump again to get to the prayer room. It's a difficult jump here, but trust me, you guys can do it with enough tries. This time, line yourself up, but instead we're going to jump down to the left here and go in the crack underneath us and loop around this left side where we'll find a locked door which requires the prayer key that we now already have, and inside you can see Queelign. Once inside, you can talk with him and choose your reward based on what Iris you want to give him. If you want to get him as a summon, give him the Iris of Grace. The summon is actually surprisingly good, he's very aggressive and constantly goes on the offensive. Although he's not very tanky, his damage output seems pretty good, and if you weren't letting him tank the boss on his own like I am, since I'm just watching him to see his performance, I can actually see this being a good summon option. If however you want the Queeling's Greatsword, give him the Iris of Occultation. This Greatsword is actually a heavy thrusting sword even though it's called a Greatsword. It requires 14 strength, 18 dex and 12 faith. Do note that after being upgraded, the scaling will lean more towards dexterity, and it does come with the Impaling Thrust unique attack that says it can overcome enemy shields as you poke forwards for a strong thrust attack. Honestly, I've tested this at level 24 and wasn't overly impressed by the weapon, but maybe with a full dex build this could work well. The heavy thrusting swords definitely have a cool moveset, but I'm not sure if I would personally use this over other weapons, so my recommendation is to really think if you want to take the summon or the sword. I might be leaning on the summon for this one. So if we've helped you out, drop a like and comment below to let us know, and subscribe for more Shadow of the Erdtree content coming your way very soon.